It's Saturday, August 4th. Welcome to Pastor Bob Daily. Yesterday I did a podcast on the boycotting of Chick-fil-A. And if you want to catch up to speed, you might want to watch that one first if you haven't. Because there's some things that I said there that really you need to understand before you watch this one. And I wasn't going to do a part two, but it's been bothering me. And I'll tell you what's bothered me. There's some things that I didn't say yesterday that I kind of felt like I should have and didn't. And I made all kinds of excuses to myself that, I only have 5 or 6 or 7 minutes. And I just can't cover everything. And also that this would be just a little too controversial, and I wasn't so sure I wanted to jump into that because I'm kind of pretty far behind in all of my correspondence anyway. I didn't want to get a lot of new mail. And I realized all of that was selfish. So those of you that are waiting for me to answer your mail, you may have to wait quite a bit longer. Today's going to be a bit controversial. There are some things about the Chick-fil-A controversy that have really bothered me. And the biggest thing that bothers me, honestly, is the self-righteousness of a lot of the Christians that have been involved. Now, listen to me on this, because I really want you to hear my heart. Folks, the biggest threat to marriage these days is not the gay movement, is not, the porn industry, is not all of these things that we think are just attacking marriage. The biggest problem with marriage today, the biggest attack, is divorce. That's it. And you say, well, there are legitimate reasons that people get divorced, and I've heard them all. I've done about 250 marriages in my time as a pastor. That's a lot of marriages. I'd love to say that everybody's still married. I'd even love to say that I believe that most are still married, but it wouldn't be true. And if statistics are correct, for those people who are Christians and get married, 42% will get divorced. That's a recent study, a pretty comprehensive study of evangelical Christians, 42%. What about non-Christians? 50%. We're almost the same. So why is that? And when we say, we stand strong with traditional marriage, do you understand that traditional marriage does not include divorce? It means marriage. It means staying married. Well, we've messed up a lot of things these days. And I've worked with young people now for a whole lot of years. The ones that are the most messed up are the ones that are coming from divorced homes. And when you get divorced, you mess up your family. You mess up your family's family. You mess up relationships with your relatives, your friends, whatever. And it's a big deal. So why is divorce on the rise? Why is it more and more and more prevalent these days? Folks, we don't know how to love each other. It's a big deal. I'm not a married person, and yet I put together a podcast series called Mating, Dating, and Waiting, or Mating, Dating, and Relating. I can't remember, something like that. It's on my YouTube channel. And it's in 10 parts, and I think actually it's even longer than that if you watch it. But it's pretty comprehensive, and the reason I did it is because I really want people to understand the nature of relationships, and we all need to. Now, I am not married, as I said, and I've never been married. It's not because I don't believe in marriage. And honestly, from my heart, it's because I believe in marriage so much. I've been involved with pioneering Christian rock and a lot of things over the years, and it's been difficult, and it really has been something I could not bring a family into. It really has taken over my life. It's been at the forefront of my thinking. It's been my passion, and I realized that I did not have enough left over to love a family the way they ought to be loved. And I've never felt comfortable with getting married because I felt like, my passion for these other things was too high. Now, it isn't because I don't believe in marriage. I was voted in my class in high school the first most likely to get married. I remember that. Because I really wanted to. I wanted a big family. I come from a great family. I wanted to reproduce that. But and now I feel like I have thousands of kids all over the world, so I feel like I have a big family. But I also believe that marriage is something, folks, that really takes some time. And when I see people getting divorced, I also see exactly the mistakes they made and how they fall, quote unquote, out of love because they don't pursue it, because they do a lot of things wrong. And I don't believe that any marriage necessarily has to end in divorce. Now, there are those people that get married too quickly, but that's a different thing. So when we look at this long line in front of Chick-fil-A, and we see all these people that are standing there in support of traditional marriage, if the statistics are true, just for non-Christians, 50% of them are hypocrites standing there. For the Christians standing there, if they fall in this percentile, 42% of them are hypocrites. And folks, the biggest problem with traditional marriage is Christians. We are not showing the non-Christian world that love matters, that traditional marriage matters. If that statistic was way down into single digits, we'd see a whole different thing happening. We would. We'd see people really want to have, to support traditional marriage, even if they're gay. I really do believe that. People would honor it more, even if they don't get married. But folks, it's hard to honor something that's having problems. It's hard to honor a group of people that seem very hypocritical, and I understand that. And so here's my challenge to you today. Number one, if you're going to stand up for traditional marriage, make sure that you're on the right side of that. If you really believe in traditional marriage says that we will love each other for better or for worse until death do us part. Traditional marriage says I love you because of you. Some days I love you in spite of you. And traditional marriage says I will remain committed to you and we will work anything out that we need to. Now, if you don't believe that, and if you have not lived that, then you cannot say that you believe strongly in traditional marriage, because you violated the greatest element of it, and that is staying married. I realize I've pushed a lot of buttons, and I realize some of you are the products of divorce, and some of you actually have been divorced yourselves. And I'm sorry for that, and I hope you've learned some things. And if you do enter into marriage again, and I know that's controversial, I'm not going to go there, but if you do, I hope that you will carry traditional marriage in your hearts. And those of you that are married or thinking about getting married for the first time, would you remember, folks, that God's greatest gift to family is marriage, the kind of marriage that's enduring, long-lasting, and God gives you the strength to endure. So endure. Work it out. Stay in love. And if you believe in traditional marriage, believe it all the way through. God bless you. Have a great day.